Welcome to EntreProgrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
I know. I'm lazy. I just ran 5 miles.
I'm standing up on his behalf.
I'm conserving my energy.
Nice.
My shoulder.
Desk up and see what comes unplugged.
Yep.
Nice. You messed up your shoulder, John?
Yeah, lifting. I don't know what the heck did it, but I keep on trying to, it was almost better, and then I lifted again, and then, that pattern. So I'm just going to have to, really, really be more, lay off it a lot more, so.
So I discovered something this week. So I'm wearing a bandage on this hand, right? I've had this wrist injury for probably 15 months now.
Yeah.
And I recently, the good news was this week I finally discovered what it's actually called, which means that I can figure out better what to treat it. The bad news is that it's called mommy thumb.
Nice.
I am not kidding. It's a repetitive stress injury that's common for new moms. Because you're lifting the baby with your thumbs wrapped around, kind of around the rib cage. And it's an irritation of the tendon that runs along the side of your arm, right up to your thumb. And so basically I ordered I'm getting a full, so I've been thinking about it as a wrist injury. So I've been wearing a wrist brace that prevents my wrist from bending back, which is good, but it's actually a thumb injury. So I haven't been protecting my thumb at all.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm getting I bought basically like a cast to completely immobilize my right hand. And I'm going to wear that sucker for like a month and just fully rest it.
Yeah.
And then start gently rehabbing from there. Because I just, what's been irritating it, I've been really careful with it when I work out, but it hasn't been getting better because what really irritates it is opening jars and opening doors and using my computer mouse and all that stuff. Like the day-to-day stuff is what's been keeping it inflamed. So yeah, so this will be interesting. I also got an ergonomic mouse it's called a vertical mouse. And so you can basically just hold your hand like a Ken doll and just move it around.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll help too. But yeah, so I've got mommy thumb.
You might want to talk to Manny. I don't know if he disappeared, but Egoscue is what Manny swears by. I don't know did I tell you about that already?
Yeah, you mentioned that. Manny, I'd be curious to hear a little more.
Yeah, so I was having problems of all sorts. Pain in my hands, numbing in my fingers, all the way down here. I wore all sorts of wrist immobilizers and this crap and that crap, and the pain would go all the way down to my neck, upper shoulder. It was horrible, and that was for years and years while I was at Qualcomm. And finally, I actually found some exercises online on YouTube from Egoscue. Actually, the funny thing is I went to the Egoscue clinic, and they gave me the exercises that did not work for me. But these online exercises that someone had put up, which were sample exercises for neck pain, they were Egoscue exercises. They finally started to work. And the funny thing, man, I cannot believe it. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Is the biggest thing I do on a daily basis is stretch my hamstrings.
Oh, interesting.
So because the hamstrings are tight, one side of the hamstrings are tighter than the other. They pull on this muscle in the lower back that connects all the way to the neck.
Yep.
It's one of the longer bands. And then when the hamstring is tight, the muscle gets pulled and the whole body goes out of alignment. So there's pinching in the nerves, which, radiates pain all over the hand. So my chiropractor was trying to treat my hand. Sometimes he would try to treat my neck. But the weirdest thing, it was freaking my hamstrings that finally I also do some shoulder work, but hamstrings, it was the most amazing thing that because it is the biggest muscle group in the body, it actually helps, it kind of controls a lot of the movement. And not only that, the Egoscue fundamental is not that the bones are out of alignment, so let's put them back into alignment. The Egoscue theory is the muscles are much more powerful than the bones, so you can do whatever you want with the bones, and tomorrow the muscles will basically pull it out of alignment. So unless you exercise your muscles, unless you actually tune up your muscles, you're just screwing it up, because the instructor is just trying to do some basic high-level work, but tomorrow it'll go back to the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, I tried carpal. I thought it was carpal tunnel. I thought it was this. I thought it was that. Like for a long time, I was just treating the hand. Then it went to the neck. Then it went to the back. But finally, the leg cured it.
You can always move on to the toes if it reoccurs. So
What's that?
You can always move on to the toes if it reoccurs.
Yeah, shit. Or the bigger muscle groups. But yeah, I mean, it's not cured. It's something that's on maintenance all the time. So I'm always like, I have to do it every day. It's like part of my morning ritual now.
Okay.
Do those stretches every morning for 15 minutes.
Interesting.
If you go periods of time without doing it, does it recur?
Yeah, after like 5 or 6 days, it will start to show, and over time, it will grow up.
Interesting. So, okay.
Don't want to spend like I'd much rather do it every day, because then I don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
But if just a few days, then I start to feel it again.
And it's and you're stretching the hamstring, right?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if building the quad up might make it permanently go away.
Well, I think the philosophy is that when you're sitting for long durations, your hamstrings are kind of shortening all the time because of the sitting process. So the hamstrings will be lengthened again.
Right. That's why I was thinking that the increasing the quad strength might actually, because then it'll pull the hamstrings stretched.
More leg presses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. Even if anything, like there's a book by him that kind of explains the fundamentals of this. So it's worth getting.
Yeah, I do a pretty good amount of mobility work through the gymnastics program that I do. Like I spend, which I'm actually pausing at the moment just because of this wrist thing. But yeah, I typically spend like 3 hours a week, like doing pretty extensive stretching. So, but cool.
Yeah, I just need to probably lay off my shoulder. My problem is that I just I don't want to miss out on lifting.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've resisted taking time off for this injury because I haven't missed a work. So I do my workouts 5 times a week. I have a different one that I do every day. I haven't missed a single week, doing all 5 of them in a week since last July.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where it's my identity is I don't miss this.
Yeah.
But it's this is freaking not getting better, and it's hampering my progress. I can't actually go get anywhere until I get this resolved. So it's either I take a month now, or it's going to be I'm going to look up a year from now, and I'll be in the same place that I am now, and wishing that I'd just not been an idiot. So
one lesson I'm being forced to learn this year, I think this is the big lesson for me, is that 90% adherence is oftentimes better than 100%. Because the price of 100% adherence is often a lot more than the benefit of the extra 10% value you get from it. Because it happens in a lot of ways. I had to force myself. Yesterday, I was doing a fast, and I was supposed to run 5 miles, and I've got my Muay Thai and whatnot, and I was I was falling to this pattern again. I was I don't really feel like running. I don't feel like going to Muay Thai. I don't feel like fasting. So it's all right, well, you know what? I'm just going to do a few miles on the treadmill walking for today, and that'll be fine. I don't have to have 100% adherence. And that was so much more beneficial, because I think if I had pushed and forced myself, then I would have gotten to the point where I would just been delaying the blow up. Instead, it sort of dissolved it. So I'm okay. And I ran 5 miles this morning and no problem. So it's, So I found that those times where you try to do that 100% adherence it works great when you're doing it, but that little extra benefit that you get, like versus doing 90% adherence, the flexibility in there is more valuable than the extra boost of the 10%.
I think there's a concept in habit formation, which is like stick to the schedule, but be flexible with the time you put into it. So,
yeah.
So you're always doing the thing, but just you vary the intensity sometimes.
So my morning ritual is like 15 minutes of meditation. Some days I don't have the time, so I sit down for like 3 minutes because that's all I got. But it keeps the habit alive.
Yeah,
so my thought for the week is no.
You guys are making me feel better about being a slacker.
Manny, you have like a halo around your head. The effect there. So
living the top lifestyle.
And we've still got to get you a like a headset, a proper with a microphone.
This weekend I will get it. All right, let me get started. Okay, so I've already been like consistently publishing a couple of times a week, but of course YouTube takes a long time to ramp up, the traffic and all that stuff. But what I'm excited about is a bunch of different collabs that I'm going to be doing. I think that's where the real growth is going to be. So there's a collab with Evan, with Antonio, with John, with a bunch of other guys. There's this channel called 1% Better. All of these guys have over 100,000. Some of are over 1 million. Some of them, or one of them is over 1.5 million. Hopefully, with these collabs, if they go according to plan, I think the channel could almost double within the collab just because of the collabs.
Wow, nice. So what have you and John and you and Manny seen from the collabs? Because I've been curious about that. Do you typically see a big bump after you do them, or is it over time? Is it the fact that the channels are connected?
I see a big bump every time if it's a quality collab, like when I did with Evan Carmichael.
No.
Yeah.
Evan Carmichael. I thought you said Kevin.
Yeah, Evan Carmichael. He has like 1.2 million. But back then, when he had maybe 500,000 subscribers and I had like 4,000, I put a video, like an animation summary of Rich Dad Poor Dad on his channel, and that got me like 2,000 subscribers in 3 days.
Nice.
So it's just that people will watch the video, people will subscribe, but the first few days is when you get the most watches. So that's a initial bump, and after that they'll continue to come. They'll continue to trickle. The first 2 or 3 days will actually define how good the video does overall, more or less.
Okay.
Unless there's some real active promotion behind it.
So you're actually putting one of your videos on their channel.
Yeah.
Versus doing an interview or something.
Yeah, no, interviews are nowhere as good as real videos. Interviews don't get the watch time on YouTube. I mean, so they do get the watch time, but they don't have the same level of engagement unless they are in person, like they're face to face.
Yeah.
Interviews they're not. I mean, they're good, but they don't have that high. Like Skype interviews or Google, like they're not as engaging compared to
your regular content. Yeah.
What's your experience?
It's weird though. Like when I was looking at that Morning Fame, by the way, is a great tool. I was looking at my stats on there, and my highest watch time content is interviews. Actually, it's like 10 minute average, 10 to 12 minute average watch time.
That makes sense because it's the longest.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like I guess it is in general, but I think it depends too on the relative size of the audience. But like what Manny's doing makes the most sense. Like if you can put an actual video that's like the real value of what your channel provides on someone else's channel, that's going to make the most sense, because that's like they're getting a sample of what, like if they want more, they're going to go get more. Whereas if they interview you, like it's like, I mean, if they like you and they like your personality, they like what you have to say, then yeah, I mean, people, but a lot of times people aren't even thinking, oh, I could subscribe to this guy's channel, right? Unless it's being called out multiple times, right? And so yeah, so I think it's better in that regard. Also in the search volume, right? If you think about it, like if Manny puts out a video on someone's channel about a book, and over time they're getting, you know, people searching for that book, like he's going to continue to gain subscribers. Whereas if an interview, people aren't really searching for interviews. Like, I mean, if they're searching for an interview, they're searching for the person being interviewed, in which case they already know who you are. So, yeah,
that makes sense.
But I think it also depends, like I said, the relative size of the channels, right? It's like blogging, like commenting on people's blog is a great strategy when you're small, right? Because it's like that benefit, the few people that actually will like come back to your blog from that are, you know, it's
10
worth
clicks
it.
actually moves the needle for you.
Exactly.
Commenting is not good, but if you write the blog and then you direct traffic, that's what's putting a new video on their channel.
Yeah, the guest posting. Yeah, I'm just saying, like it just like at the scale level, it depends on the relative audience sizes, whether or not like how much effort is worth the right.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is like 10 times my size or 100 times the size, no matter how big the channel, there's always an upside because of what they can bring, right? When someone has a million, or even if they have very similar audience to you, and even if they're yours. Yeah. But if they're very similar audiences, they're still going to drive a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do the summary for Pat Flynn's book, because I believe if that could drive a lot of traffic, because it's more or less the same freaking audience.
Right. Yeah.
That's really good. So you can do, you're going to try to publish on his channel your summary of his book. Yeah. That's pretty awesome, because that's like a good value add that you can go to people with, because it promotes their book.
Right.
You know, so it's like makes sense for them to put it out there. Yeah, I really like that.
It's almost like creating free book trailers for people, right? It's like, because you know, you're basically advertising it, and it's great because it's not them plugging their own thing on their channel.
Yeah,
it's you doing it. It's on their channel, you know. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is some people are going to see it, and then they're going to, you know, you can put your plug in for subscribe to my channel, and some people will follow that, and some people will see it on Pat Flynn's book, and then maybe you do one on like a book from John Lee Dumas or somebody who was on his show or something like that. And so you start to get that exposure over and over again. And then some of these people go, all right, who is this guy?
Yeah. I mean, it usually, if I can get 10% of the people to click on the end card, that was a successful video. And that's the intention. Like, if I can get 10% of the viewers to get all the way to clicking on the end card, it did well. I don't know, John, where are you with the end card thing right now? Or if you're at all tracking that metric.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure on the, I should take a look here. I haven't, so yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see. So is there, you can look at end card clicks specifically per video, or is it overall or per video?
Per video, and not only that, it can actually show you the percentages of how many people clicked on the end card. And nowadays, I'm just driving traffic on the end card to my own videos,
right?
Own playlists, or just a call to subscribe, not to an external. But there's no difference really. I mean, because it's all about me calling to action. People don't care if they're going off of YouTube, because they're still gonna, you know, they're getting the value that they were promised.
Okay, so I've got clicks per end screen element shown 0.84% overall.
Yeah, that's bad because you guys don't do any.
No, there's always end cards for sure. Every video has end card.
You don't use, like, I live for the end card, in the sense I'm literally like, the whole video is leading to the end card for them to take action at the end.
Yeah.
So my end card CTA is part of the plan when I'm planning the video. Like, what will be the CTA for them to stick around, or for them to go off the channel to do something else?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at like my percentage, the highest percentage I have on any video I can't sort by percentage, but it looks like 3.44% is probably.
Yeah, which is decent. 3%. Anything above, it's like almost like getting a blog post click, right? 2 to 3% is a good enough number.
Yeah.
So similar here.
Oh wow. The one has 12.5%. That's weird though.
What about cards? Because you always, you keep saying, check out this card, check out that card.
Yeah.
What is the card click percentage?
That one, it's hard to gauge too because, well, let me look at it. But
I'll tell you.
What's that? No, I mean, it's hard to gauge the effectiveness of having those videos because people also know that the link's in the description, so they're not always clicking the cards. So I'm getting a lot of reference other videos. So, oh, interesting. Okay, clicks per card shown is 11%.
Per card shown. No, per card shown is when they actually click on the eye. For that, click
teaser clicks per card. Teaser shown 1.6.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how many times 1.6% of the time people are clicking the eye.
Yeah.
So you might be bleeding off some of what Manny, you're not doing that, right?
I don't do as many cards. I don't in the middle of video call attention to any card. In the middle, I want them to watch the whole video, and at the end, I want them to go to a new video. Right now, earlier I wanted them to go to my website, but these days I'm actually just directing them to my own videos.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Think about this, right? And this is how I look at it. Is if okay, so let's say you're watching a video, right? And then I'm like, oh, you should. I talked about this in this other video. So you're gonna click the card, you're gonna click the thing. It should open it in a new window, I believe, right? Or does it just take you there? Either way, you're going to finish watching the video that you're watching. Either you're going to go and interrupt and watch the new video and then come back, but like you're more likely to the more engaged you are, the more likely you are to stay engaged. So I'm actually increasing your engagement by having you have more content, right? So it's like my thought about it too is it's like, okay, if I'm going to lose your interest, I'd rather not. I'd rather give you more of
You're
a
doing
spike.
your own cat videos, John.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna get distracted by a cat video, or they're gonna watch one of John's cat videos. So
I'm just gonna start doing that. That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what you're watching. I'm gonna be like, so by the way, guys, before you click off here, if you're thinking that you're not liking this video right now, just go ahead and click up here for this cat video I made.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the card thing, and I'd be interested to see if you at the end of the video just call to action saying, "Hey, by the way, the videos I talked about, they're here and here, and they're actually linked to the end card." To see what happens then.
Oh, that's an interesting experiment. Yeah, to do it there instead of doing it in the middle.
Yeah, I think, John, what might be happening too is that you're bleeding off some of the clicks you would get, because the people there's a subset of people that are going to be clickers, right?
Right.
And
exactly.
You're getting some of those clicks earlier, so your end card stats are lower than Manny's.
Well,
so
also
it's probably not as big of a difference as it looks.
Yeah, it's also going to be too, depending on how much of your percentage of video views come from subscribers or not, because a lot of end card clicks are going to be subscribe clicks, right? So,
well, you can do
it. Sound like Hillary Clinton trying to explain why she's
these days. For playlists, more or less. So I'm creating playlists on that topic that I want them to be driven to.
Yeah, the playlist makes a lot of sense. That's the best. I've been trying to do that more too, is just to reference playlist. Because if you get someone on a playlist, that's the best possible thing you can do. Right? That's better than having them subscribe to your channel, getting them to watch a playlist.
Yeah, because they will ideally subscribe and actually go get the freebie or something from the website.
Exactly. Yeah.
A few videos.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to start doing aggressively as well is more Reddit marketing, because it works.
I need to do that. That I have not had any success with, but it makes sense.
Yeah. When I post to Reddit, it almost always pays off for me.
Yeah, there was I'd seen this good article about how to do Reddit a while back, and basically the strategy was you kind of hang out and you look for really hot threads, and then you engage on that thread. So rather than posting your own stuff, you're piggybacking off of a really hot thread, and then you can mention some content that you have and say, hey, I'll put, I did a video about this, and if you want, I'll post a link. And then if somebody's going to say, go ahead and post it. Yeah, I want to see it. And then you post it. Because if you don't do that, then you get the hordes with the pitchforks come out, and then, you're toast and your account gets banned.
I have had really good success with Reddit without doing any of the commenting thing.
Okay.
I just straight up create really high quality video. And the biggest challenge with Reddit is titles. Having the right title, it's like the school of copywriting.
Yeah.
Reddit is the school of copywriting, because if you can dominate the title there, you'll literally go up the ranks. And I've never had, maybe once or twice have I had someone complain that, hey, you're just posting your own videos, and I already have over 1,500 upvotes there now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's people can complain, but usually the other guys are like, hey, it's good content, blah, blah, blah. So it keeps going on.
What subreddits do you post in, like the productivity ones, or?
Oh man, I got to give you this example now.
Yeah, see, the difference is the subreddits, but go ahead. Yeah. There's a little bit of a difference between personal development subreddits and programmer ones, but
there's that's what I'm saying. There's a way to figure out how to hack them with, whatever you do. The other challenge though is people when they're watching an animation, they don't ascribe it to my face. But if it's just my face again and again, you could get into trouble, because they're like, I see this guy all the time, right? But it's animation, they don't realize it's the same guy. It could be so many different guys. Right?
True.
But so, for example, I've had
sorry, real quick on the video thing. Part of it is that, when you post a blog post, everybody knows, it's obvious what the URL is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus a video, it's just a video. It just goes to YouTube, so it's different. That's a good difference to know about. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. But then they would say, oh, by the way, this video has already been posted. So then I created a freaking playlist that has that video plus another video, and then now it's a new URL. So they literally cannot track YouTube.
Oh yeah. That's a good strategy. Yep.
I hope they're not watching.
The Reddit police.
I hate they.
They are always watching me. Those fuckers. Someday I'm gonna go and kill them. I keep on hearing voices in my head telling me to do it, but.
So one subreddit was happiness r/happy, and over there I posted something called.
I don't think there's a lot of programmers that hang out.
No, there's no programmers in r/happy.
That's awesome.
Book called the Science of Happiness, the How of Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll create a summary of it. Fucking r/happy couldn't care less. They just watered it down.
Fuckers.
There's 200,000 people there. They just couldn't care less about how.
That's great.
This other subreddit, which is 250,000 people, called How to Not Give a Fuck. And I said, here are 5 scientifically proven ways to be happy in life and stop giving a fuck about things that don't matter. And that got over 200 upvotes in a matter of.
It's because those people don't give a fuck about whether or not you're self-posting or shit, right? They don't give a fuck about policing Reddit. They just don't give a fuck. They're like, fuck, I'll just click this shit, motherfucker.
The titles can work. So not the video. It's the right subreddit with the right angle and the right title. Fuck, man, I could do a masterclass on how to do Reddit.
Yeah, you should. I would definitely buy it. Because, I would have Rodrigo watch it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
My phone is get it.
Yeah, in the programmer space, it's it's a little bit more people not looking for good. They're looking for what's wrong, not what's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need their own subreddit that's /r/you trying to sell me something ? And go.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that I got banned. I got blacklisted from posting maybe like half a dozen of my like links to my own site. So they're pretty intolerant of.
But the YouTube makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
because they can't block YouTube. I mean, they could shadow ban your account.
Yeah,
but they can't. You know, they can't. That has to get. It's not as easy to do that with software.
Right, you can't algorithmically detect it as much.
Exactly.
Right? So,
yeah, it has to be manually done. Interesting.
Well, I've been thinking about. I think I know what I'm going to do with YouTube. I've been wanting to get involved on YouTube for a while, and I had a conversation with somebody this last week that that kind of drove me to some ideas. So the coaching group that I'm a part of these days, most of those guys are really into Amazon Alexa briefings. I don't know if you're familiar with those, the flash briefings. So you ask for your flash briefing, and then it essentially plays a 5-minute program from the different things that you've added to your flash briefing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I went and looked, and there aren't flash briefings for JavaScript or Ruby or any of these topics that I cover. And so what I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting those videos up on I'm going to start doing 5-minute videos that are Ruby related or JavaScript related or React related, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and sell sponsorships on those. I wouldn't be shocked if I can sell a ton, and since it's every day, I can really get those to fill in. The other thing though is that I'm probably going to hold on to 1 or 2 of those myself every week because I want to do a career segment on each of those, and I also want to start doing like a 5-minute recap of the episode after we do like Ruby Rogues or JavaScript Jabber or whatever with the guest. And so just record that and just be like, look, I'd like to do this on a video, I'd like to put it on YouTube, we'll put it out the week that your episode comes out, and just promote, hey, look, go subscribe to the podcast and see if I can grow the podcast audiences and increase my sponsorship income that way as well. And so the other 3 days a week, I'd be like, I'm probably going to go back to Linode and say, hey, look, I want to do this. Are you willing to sponsor it for a few months? And then the other thing is I can cross promote it on the podcast and see if I can get a lot of people using it and get some reviews on Amazon for it. And see if I can get the word out on that particular skill. So then people can come in and they can ask for their flash briefing, and it'll be, hey, here's a new library in JavaScript or whatever the hot thing is, talking about Reddit. Here was this was the top thread on Reddit, and I thought it was interesting to talk about, or whatever. And I can just for 5 minutes talk about whatever that thing is. But I can also release it as a podcast. So the people who want it as a flash briefing can get it, and the people who want it as a podcast can get it. People who want it on YouTube can get it. But I'll probably wind up building quite a library of videos, and I can just put them all in a playlist so they can just play the most recent, and then it'll just work backward. But
so these are played normally. Most people would be consuming these through Alexa. It's just like you're shaving in the morning and you're like, hey Alexa, play my flash briefings, and it's like a bunch of 5-minute. It's like your own 5-minute, or it's like your own news station almost.
Yeah, basically. So you subscribe to the different things you want in your flash briefing, and most of the stuff in there is 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, and so it's delivered via audio for most people.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't have anything in mind currently, so I don't know what this is going to do. But Alexa, play my flash briefing.
It's going to be a bunch of leftist. Like this is
Mother Jones and nothing.
No, it's playing.
Oh, okay.
Here is the latest news
Alexa,
from the the gay lesbian community blog.
Yeah, it did. It pulled in some kind of political thing. I could only catch every other word because you guys were making fun of it. But yeah. So, but yeah, you can go into your Alexa app and you can tell it, hey, look, these are the briefings I want. And so, yeah, I figure, why not? And just see what we can grow out that way.
Here are the latest free speech rallies that you need to protest. No, that you need to protest.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's pretty cool because that is a potentially you're getting in on the ground floor of a thing that if it ends up taking off could be really. This is one of those where if I were in your shoes, I'd probably give it 6 months or so and see if it looks like it's going to go anywhere.
But the thing is I can put it on iTunes and Google Play. I can put it on Spotify. I can put it on I can put it on the Amazon Alexa. I can see if there's a way to get it on Google Home. Though I'm guessing that by submitting the podcast to the Play Store, you kind of get that. But I can put it in all these places, and then I can do it on YouTube and just see what sticks, see what really gains ground. And I think it just hits people in different places. But because it's so short and it's so convenient, I think there are a lot of ways that people can consume it easily. So
cool. Now you're gonna have to build software just to distribute to all those places at once.
Actually, almost all of those run off of an RSS feed.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Even the daily briefing runs off of an RSS feed for that particular type of skill. Yes.
Huh.
Nice.
I haven't quite finished setting it up because I haven't set up the RSS feed for it yet, but I'm probably going to record a bunch of those this afternoon for a JavaScript audience and just see where it goes. So
nice.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea for sure. Like that. In fact, that might be something that just makes sense to do for anyone that just as another channel is to do Alexa news briefings. Like you can just have little snippets. Yeah. The only problem is I wonder what the I have no idea what the actual volume is right now of Alexa, people that are using the skills.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a few people who are doing it in the business space, and it's been gaining ground for them in big ways. But that doesn't necessarily mean that my audiences are doing the same thing.
Right.
But if it's closely related to the business space. I'd say whatever is working there has a high likelihood of working.
Yeah, so. I'd also like to set up a skill that basically says something to the effect of, you could tell your smart device, play me an episode on this topic from Ruby Rogues or JavaScript Jabber or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Have it find those episodes and just play them. And that way, I just think at the end of my shows, it'd be nice to be able to say, if you want this episode or episodes like it, go to your Google Home or Amazon Echo and say, play me an episode about blah, 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 from devchat.tv.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how all that would come together, but it's an interesting and a convenient way to do it that kind of opens up the catalog for people without them having to go search through everything we have on the website. And then if I start doing the SEO stuff like Josh and I start, delisting some of these episodes, then people can still find it on either by coming to the website and doing the search or by using their smart home device or their whatever they call them, their assistant device. So. And then I'm really terrible at saying no to things, and I was elected the precinct chair for the Utah County Republican Party, Lehigh 19th District. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be going to a bunch of political events. My neighbor asked me if I wanted to be nominated, and I thought he was joking, so I was like, I guess. And so he nominated me, and somehow I got elected. I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this thing. So
you're a civil servant now?
I'm an officer for the lowest level of the Republican Party in Utah.
Okay.
So
Nice.
So I get to organize the caucus in 2 years, and I'm also a delegate, so I get to go to the events and talk to the candidates and stuff. So there are a bunch of meet and greets over the next week or two for all the county offices, and then I will probably hear from a bunch of people for the state, federal offices. So one of the candidates in this state is Mitt Romney, so I'll probably wind up going to an event and asking him questions. But it also includes Mia Love and some of the other folks from the area that I live in. So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes. But yeah, I'm sitting there going, I don't have time for any of this. But it's just kind of how it worked out. So yeah. And then just, yeah, I've been so tired just dealing with all the crap. You know, with my dad and his health and everything else. Yesterday, I just sat in here and kind of stared at my computer for a while and decided, well, if I can't work, I'm going to organize stuff in my office. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the angle on, you know, you can see the closet door instead of the whiteboard and stuff like that. So I've been getting a lot of that stuff organized just so that I can work in here and stuff. And I've opened the room way up just by rearranging my desks and stuff. So yeah, so I've been pretty overwhelmed and pretty tired, but I also feel like I'm getting a better handle on things. So we'll see how that goes. Michelle also volunteered. I asked her, I think it was last week, actually, I might have mentioned this, but she actually volunteered to update some of the SOPs. And so now I've got her writing SOPs, and so I'll just go in and fix stuff in them once she has them written. But yeah, there's another thing off my plate is, you know, I just show her how to do something and then have her write it up.
Nice.
Yeah, makes me happy.
Oh, Josh, I got a valuation from Flippa.com, a free valuation of what simple programmers are worth.
Okay, I see you grinning. So this will be interesting.
Somewhere between $100,000 and $300,000.
Okay, well, I don't think we'll sell for that. So.
I replied back 3 words, 4 words. Is this a joke?
I got cash to burn, so let me know, guys. Ready to buy.
You want to buy in? It's kind of crazy. I was like, did you look at the financial statement? I was like, so anyway. Huh?
What did she come back with? Did she say anything after that?
Not. She said, "Well, you could have a reserve price." She's like, "What would you want to sell at?" Like I said, honestly, it would have to be at least $1 million, but I seriously doubt we'd sell it for anything less than 2. Like, because it's generating, almost $500,000 a year of almost pure profit. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, hello, like,
so she said about $500,000.
I'll give you $5 for it.
What's that?
Rob, why was she saying 100K as a number rather than 500K as the baseline number?
I have no idea. She's nuts. Like, because they want to sell because it's Flippa, right? I mean, I think they're more designed to flip small websites, right? I think that's kind of their thing. It's not really. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to be serious about a bigger site, you go with a broker.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a business broker. So
based on volume, huh?
Yeah, Empire Flippers or something like that. So, but I just thought it was funny. I just thought, well, I might as well check out their thing. But there's some good news that came out of it, which is that, like, she basically said that the valuation for an online business like that is about 1 to 3x gross profit per year, which is pretty damn low. Because I'm like, wow, all right. So can I really buy a business? Like, okay, can I buy a business that makes $100,000 a year gross profit for $200,000? If so, yeah, sign me up. I'm good. Let's do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if that really is the case, it's not bad for the potential of actually buying some stuff. So
yeah, nice.
That's interesting. I just went there just to see what they had listed.
Flippa is mostly garbage. It's 97% garbage. Maybe that's being generous.
There's some good stuff. Yeah, it's mostly, but there's some good stuff there. I mean, people are selling websites that are monetized with AdSense that are making like, $1,000 a month just on AdSense ads, right? Like that's
this
actually
month.
Wow.
They're 3 weeks. You're gonna buy it 3 weeks ahead of the Google slap.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people on there that just have sites that they have no clue. They have no internet marketing experience. They have they don't understand at all how to monetize things. So
yeah, if you're you have to be prepared to spend tens of thousands, I think, to get anything decent. Because I've looked a few times and it's always like anything less than that, and it's like, I started this, homeappliances.xyz. And it's got content, so all you have to do is build links to it.
Well, there's actually courses, Josh. This is actually a thing. I was looking into Flippa courses, and there's actually courses that people build on how to make starter sites and sell them on Flippa. So basically, what they're doing, and it's a decently valuable service for someone who has no technology experience, which is they're throwing up a WordPress site, theming it, getting the domain, putting it all together and putting some content on there, and then bam, you can buy that thing for, I don't know, I guess they're probably selling it for a couple $1,000, maybe $1,000, $2,000, and you're set to go with your new business. So it's sort of, it makes sense, but that's specifically what people are doing is they're pumping out these sites like that. It's not a profitable site. It's not like advertised to be profitable, but it's saving people a bunch of time that don't know WordPress.
Yeah, that's true.
Or don't know anything about how the internet works, that are now starting an online business.
What could go wrong?
Nothing.
So, all right. So I have a decision that I could use some help with. So I am thinking. So I have been. I had a good conversation this week with a guy who's been on my email list for a long time. His name's David. And so I've known this guy for quite a while, and he actually reached out to me this week just because he saw that I had signed up for Brian Dean's SEO course.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I had posted in the Facebook group, and he just happened to notice my post in there, so he emailed me and said, "Hey, just saw that you were in the course. What do you think of it? I thought it's been really helpful for me." So we were talking back and forth, and then I get the email came out from Brian Dean for the last module on Monday, and I'm watching it, and one of the case studies in there was this guy David. So it was pretty funny. Like he's actually like Brian, he's worked a little bit with Brian and at least gotten Brian's attention. But so anyway, so I got on Skype with David this week, and we talked for about an hour, and he runs about 15 different websites, and he's got a pretty decent amount of SEO experience. And I was talking to him about, how I'm looking to build a team, to do SEO for us and like the backlink outreach and everything. And his feedback was, he was like, I can't possibly work with you. He's got too much going on with his own projects. But he said that he's done the thing where he's built his own team, like found somebody to do all the research for the outreach, train people on actually doing the outreach, the whole 9 yards. And what he found is that it is much more cost effective to go with an agency.
Interesting.
So yeah, which I was kind of surprised to hear. So he basically referred me to this guy who I had not heard of before, but he said this guy. So he basically the two people that David like pays attention to for SEO are Brian Dean and this other guy, and his name's Matt Diggity, and he's got an agency. They're called, let me see, what's the name of it? It's called the Search Initiative, I think. And what I've been looking at their stuff, and I feel like their strength. So Brian Dean's like his approach to SEO is very content focused, which is good.
Right.
And I like that. Matt and his guys seem to be very good at the technical side of things. and they
Right.
approach it more as technicians, and they have like 400 different properties that they own, that they are constantly doing testing with, just to see, like, kind of poke the bear with Google and see what's working and what Google's changing. So anyway, I've been talking to the search initiative this week, and I'm considering hiring them for a project to just try them out for a couple of months or a few months. The thing that's making me hesitate, so it would be basically, I could start with them for $2,500 a month.
Okay.
That's like their entry level. And what is making me hesitate is the same crap that you get from every SEO people really need to get a handle on this, because the thing you hear from everybody, whether they're good or whether they're a complete scam, is, oh, you need to work with us for 6 to 12 months and then you'll see results. And I'm like, no. Like, I want to see, I mean, I've been able to generate results with our site with just my, toddler-esque fumbling around trying to figure this stuff out. I've been able to grow the site by like 25% in the last 3 or 4 months. So it should not take us 6 months to, before we start to see any results. It's crazy. But so I've been meeting with them. I met with the guy today, and he's like, yeah, and basically this group, my understanding of them is that they pretty much just work off of referrals. So they don't have a very polished intake funnel where they're going to give you like.
Wait a minute.
What?
Are you telling me that their main source of lead generation is not Google traffic?
Okay, so Matt works with SEMrush, and I don't know, but they don't have a.
Why don't they just rank #1 for SEO agency?
That is a good question.
I've had guys want to do Google SEO courses, but they only want to sell through YouTube because Google. Like, no, I think YouTube is better. I'm like, dude, you're an SEO guy. He's like, no, YouTube will work.
Well, so anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that what I really would like is that would be to do a pilot project with them, where it's more like what I really would be the discovery contracts type of model, where I pay them, they do some work for me, and then we decide whether to continue. It seems like if they have like just you're either on the train or you're off, but there's no like long-term commitment to it. So I could do a month or two, and it sounded like they would be willing to basically, like, what I want to do is like pick a couple of pages, focus on, like, not like go, okay, we're going to do the whole site-wide audit and, oh, you need to get your page speed up. And what I'm worried about is, like, I'm going to pay them $2,500 and they're going to give me this report and they're going to be like, go implement this. And then I am going to spend the next 3 months, like, they're not going to want to, move forward until I finish this big to-do list that they give me, which isn't going to work for me at all. Right. So for me, that's like I think that's going to be the case with just about if I were to work with any agency, I would have that same fear going into it. So I'm trying to decide whether it's worth just doing like a month or two with them, and because it sounded like they'd be willing to kind of take whatever approach I wanted to take once I got on the train, but they're just not. They didn't seem interested in, like, they weren't going to do a bunch of work up front to try to convince me to sign up, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, gosh, every time we've tried this, we've gotten screwed, right? Like,
well, I mean, I would be very hands-on with this.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you'd have to be super hands-on.
I would be very hands-on with this, at least at first.
Yeah.
And to make sure that we were getting what we wanted. And I mean, for me, what I want is, what I don't want is for them to just give me a big to-do list, because I don't have a team to do it. Like, they've got to be able to implement the stuff.
Right.
We've got to pick stuff that they can implement within the budget, so that I'm not having to go hire people to, you know, go through and, like, you know, spend a month trying to optimize our caching. Good grief. I can't even, that's such a mess. I don't want to think about that right now. But
well, one thing that I've seen with a lot of these agencies, especially with services like this, is that like, if there's low-hanging fruit that you can go do on your own, and it sounds like you've been hitting a lot of that stuff, you may want to just keep milking that until, you know, it's not paying off, or until you think there's a bigger payoff to be had by somebody who really gets it.
Well, like, the thing is, it's if I could pay someone $2,500 to do some of that low-hanging fruit, it would be worth it.
Right.
Because I can, like, there's some other stuff that I really need to be doing. Like, I really need to get, there's problems with our email, like, with the way that we're collecting email addresses that I need to get to. And I could do, you know, there's so many things I could be doing on the email side and then on the product side, that if I could find somebody, I'm reasonably confident that these guys I'm reasonably confident that they're pretty good, that they're good, that they can do what they say they're going to do. I'm just concerned about getting strung out for 6 to 12 months, getting a big, huge pile of technical changes I have to make to the site before we can do anything else. That's.
Hey guys, I have my cleaner downstairs, so I need to go get her.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. See ya.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I guess I'm driving at is there are different levels to a lot of this kind of work.
Right.
You know, one is you hire an agency to do it, and that's kind of what you're talking about. But if you can figure out what the low-hanging fruit is on your own, then you can hire and train somebody to do it yourself. And that's more cost-effective, and you'll get, you know, you'll have more control. And then there's, you know, doing it yourself, which is what you're doing now, which sounds like it's not very efficient compared to what other things that you should probably be working on.
Yeah, I mean, this is like $100 an hour work, and there's other things I could be doing that are like, you know, multiple $100 an hour work.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing.
Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say with this, it's like if they're valuable, if they can actually produce results, then it's worth paying for, because we'll get more than that money back. Right. But the thing is, like, how long do you have to find out? I mean, if it's like you have to, like, you won't find out. I mean, I don't know. If you put them on for a month and you're working very closely with them and you see exactly what they're doing, then that's and this kind of goes along with what Chuck's saying. It's like, I'm all for experimenting with this, because here's the thing: it's like you could essentially hire them for a month, work really, really closely with them, and then you'll know, like, if they're putting in the effort or the work that you think is actually valuable or not, or if they're even doing the right things. And then if they're not, then it's fine. And even with that, like, yeah, maybe it'll take like 3 or 4 months before you actually see really good results, which is fine, but you'll know, like, you have enough experience to know if you're actually, the problem is that we've had in the past is we've, like, said, okay, here's some money, go off and do your thing, don't bother me. And so you should know then. The other thing that you could do with that too is, let's say you have them working for like 2 or 3 months, and you're working with them closely, at least for the first month, and you see what they're doing, then you could actually hire someone to do that if it's cheaper, and train them and know exactly what it is. You know, but the other thing I would say about this too is, like, maybe it's worth, again, we talked about this before, but I still think it might be worth hiring just like someone like the Viper Chill guy, just to take a look, you know, just a couple hours this time. Just tell him what you're doing. To, you know, have him look at the site, have him just like, because that might provide more value and insight. And actually what you could do is even get his opinion on it and say, hey, if I were to hire this SEO agency, like, you know, what would I look for evaluating them? Like what should they be doing? Right.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the direction I would go.
Yeah. He would know this guy.
One other thing I would just push on is, I mean, if what you care about is the results, right? These pages rank, you know, top 10, top 5, you know, top 2. And so if you can give them some kind of, hey, look, if you get it to the top, you know, I'll pay you $1,000 and I expect it to be top 10. And then if you can get it to top 5, then it'll be 2,000. If you can get it to top 2, then it'll be 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then, you know, then you're actually paying for the result you want instead of paying them to do a whole bunch of work that will who knows what.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's
but I don't know if they go for the different freelancers or different.
No, I mean, they're pretty much, they have their pricing structure set, and so I'm either I'm either in or I'm out. But I could
still make
shape
that proposal.
I could shape the first couple months of our working together to geared towards a specific result. Like I'd rather spend $5,000 or $10,000 and focus on 2 pages and get those from 5 to 1 or 5 to 2 or something than I would spend $2,000 a month for 6 months to focus on the whole site. You know what I mean? Because that's where it's just hard to measure whether anything's actually working. And it also makes it super easy to like just pile crap on me that I don't have time to implement. And then if I'm like, oh, I can't do all this, then they're like, oh, well, we have developers that can help you with that. Oh. And then my budget's gone, you know, and like all we've done is optimize, you know, 2 pages, and well, we can get to the next 2 pages next month. And so that's like really what I'm worried about more than anything.
Yeah, but their goal is to string you along as long as possible, and your goal is to not let them string you as long.
Yeah. So, well, they were saying that their average customer retention is 16 months. So that's not, I mean, if that's true, that's not horrible.
Yeah.
So it's people are sticking with them beyond the initial like 6 months, like, hey, give it a try period.
I mean, I'm definitely up for trying it, but again, I'd say like I'd be real curious just in general to hear Diggy or, you know, Viper Chill's, you know, if
he actually probably knows him. He would probably know him at least by reputation. But yeah, because they both, so Brian Dean is like the shining white knight of SEO.
Yeah.
And like everything he teaches is like squeaky clean. So Viper Chill is like, he's kind of like the guy that hides in the alley with the shank, you know, and just like, he's more on the black hat side. And then this guy, Matt, is, he kind of falls in the middle. He does some gray hat stuff with like private blog networks and stuff. But most of what he does, you can kind of give them the green light on doing some of the gray hat stuff, or just keep it white hat with them. So they offer both options. But yeah, that's a good idea. I should check with Glenn.
Yeah,
get his take.
Yeah, because it'll be good. I mean, just to have an unbiased expert opinion. Because right now you're just getting their opinion of their own services. Well,
I mean, again, if I had just found them randomly, I would be even more skeptical. But I did get a pretty good referral, and they are also apparently working on a partnership with Brian Dean. So they're like,
oh, okay. So
yes, yeah. So they're established. Like they're not some little
yeah,
unknown startup or anything. They're and Matt has worked with I think he's been published on Search Engine Watch and works with SEMrush. So he's at least he's a figure. He's not as high profile as like a Neil Patel or something, but he's fairly well known.
Okay. So there's a pretty good chance that they're actually going to be good then.
Yeah, I'm thinking that probably it sounds like the best thing to do would be maybe talk to Glenn, and then also basically just sign up with them for a month or two. And like I would basically be like, all right, this month, all we're doing is working on this project with the Search Engine Initiative folks. And they use like, it seems like they want the client to be involved. They don't want to be like, just, you stay over there and we'll do our thing. They seem like they try to involve you heavily. So, and they don't do content. So what we got burned with Native Commerce was the content side of things.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't do that. They do guest blogging for you to generate backlinks, but they do not they don't pretend to try to run your content show. So
okay, that's good then.
Yeah.
It'll probably, I mean, definitely as long as it's not super long-term commitments, experimentation definitely makes sense for sure. Like there's a lot of value, and if they're good, and just to learn, I mean, I would look and see, like, I would just work closely enough with them to learn, to figure out exactly what are they doing, right? Like,
right.
Because if it's effective, then you want to know. So,
right.
And also, and if it's not, if they're doing some basic stuff, they're like, oh, look, we're basic stuff that we're already doing. Like that someone who's just a total novice wouldn't know, and so that's how they're getting results. Because sometimes that's what.
Well, if they could do it and I didn't have to do it and it was affordable, that would still be fine with that, honestly.
Yeah.
But what I'm worried about is they tell me all this basic stuff and then don't do any of it. And we don't get any results, so. All right. Well, that gives me some good feedback. Cool.
So, I guess it's thoughts time.
Yeah.
We need like a little jingle for that or something.
I knew a guy that could make a jingle, but he's too expensive now. I guess my thought, I'll just stick with what I had said before, which was the idea that, like, sometimes, ironically, like, or counterintuitively, not as much ironically, 90% coherence is more effective than 100%, because simply that extra 10% often comes at a very high cost, right? And so that's one thing I've struggled with, is like I'm very good at being 100% coherent or compliant, but then that when I do screw up, it's a bigger blow up because of the all or nothing type of where I think there's definitely, you don't want to be 50% compliant. That's bad, right? Like if you miss one of every 2 workouts, 50% of your workouts, you're going to have bad results. If you're off your diet 50% of the time, you're going to have bad results. Whereas 90%, you're almost going to get the same effect as 100%, except that that extra 10%, I guess, comes at such a high cost that it will cost you duration, right? Your duration is probably going to be longer at a 90% coherence rate or compliance rate than at 100%. And that's something that, again, I think that's my lesson to learn for this year, is to figure that out. And I've been experimenting with that, and so far it's been, it's much better. There's a lot less pressure too, because you're like, okay, well, if I can miss 1 out of every 10, or I can mess up, every so often, then you don't feel like everything is riding on every single thing.
Nice. I think for me, the lesson the theme this week was being patient. Like that, I mentioned this thing with my wrist. Like this has been, I'm just really like, I want to make progress on my workouts, but really there's no way to do that without taking a couple steps back at this point. Like I'm never going to get past this point. If I don't just take the time, breathe, and let nature take its course. Like I just can't. It's extremely frustrating, but I've tried everything at this point and it's not worked. So
I don't know if I have any deep thoughts this week. I mean, you know, it's been just one thing after the other. Been kind of burned out, and I just keep going, just keep trying. I mean, yesterday I couldn't do one thing. I guess maybe this is my thought. I really couldn't focus on work, and so I, you know, was straightening my office. And so if you can't do something major, you know, if you're just not there, then do something productive at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that goes very, very well along with that 90% coherence, right? It's the same concept, right? It's like at least like you don't have to be doing kicking home runs all the time. You don't have to be kicking home runs.
That's tweetable. All right, guys.
All right. See you guys next week.
Yep. Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derek as we figure it out. We are the EntreProgrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.